3UP, which is a platform for teachers, caseworkers, or families in need to go find nightly used items from ages 0 to 14. So we can get started. Okay, almost there. So, what you see on the main page is like an Explore section where you see what's available for families to go check. So here you can see that there are shorts and shirts. Once you go to the post item section, you could choose a file, a picture from your computer. In this case, I chose a jacket. Then you enter a title for it. You press the upload, which is going to open up a model, and you can pick the size. You could select a category. So some of the categories are clothes, traveling, education. There's a Google Places API for the location, so that way it eliminates all the spelling errors. And then once you've uploaded, you can go back to the city and search it, and if you scroll all the way back down, you will see that the item that you just selected got uploaded to the website. This section, I ended up just like searching a bunch of other cities just to show you that you could search to different cities. But while you're seeing this section, I'm going to let you know my stack, which is MySQL, Express, Node.js, and React. I also use Google Places API and the Auth0, which you're going to see next. And so here I am just going through New York, I went through SF and LA. And so now we're going to go through the profile section, which is where by using OAuth, you could log in, which is what you're seeing right now. It's just loading up. You've probably seen this in a lot of apps you go to. And yeah, once you log in, you could go back to your account and check out your profile and upload all the things you want.
Is that a requirement?
It is, yeah. I am the transition out of Michelle. Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Michelle Cueto, and before I jump into my demo, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, just because it ties really well into the project that I created. So I was born in Southern California from migrant parents from Mexico. Moved, stayed there for a little bit. After high school, didn't really like the suburbs, decided to move up here for college. Loved it up here, got into the nonprofit sector for a bit while in college, met a lot of awesome people that work in the community, and then graduated from college, stayed in the nonprofit sector, and then moved, eventually code kept bugging me throughout like high school and college and everything. I didn't really listen to it. But after college and I was in the nonprofit sector, I was at a nonprofit where I was doing a lot of things. Obviously, the nonprofit area is an interesting area, and one of the things that I was doing is managing a website where I was playing around with some CSS and HTML. And I was like, oh, I like this. I remember this from high school. I'm gonna keep doing it. And so I found out about another program called Admission, and then I got some training there, and then I found out about Techtonica, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. This is great. I want to do it. So this road has been an awesome road. It's been a very rewarding road, but it's also been a very, it hasn't been like the easiest road here. Like I mentioned before, I do come from migrant parents who, I'm first generation, first to go to college, and I grew up with a fear of authority. So when I was little, I always knew not to call the cops. I always grew up with this fear of cops. So it was like, if you never call the cops to make things better. Because coming from migrant parents, cops meant that possibly they could take away your parents. They could take away a family member. Some things could go down. And so I always grew up with this fear, not really like knowing why. And then later in college, I got there and it explained a lot to me. And I was like, oh, this is why I have this fear all the time. And I also growing up, I was like, well, it'll be cool if there was a platform to like report this on, because the community was pretty strong growing up. They would tell each other like, hey, watch out on 4th Street in Maine. There's a checkpoint going on. There's some like cops checking for IDs and sobriety, but they're mainly checking for IDs and documentation. And up to recent years, there's been ICE raids happening. So as technology has evolved, there has been Facebook and Twitter to report these checkpoints and ICE raids that are happening. However, a lot of them are not anonymous and they're not validated. So once in Techtonica and I learned all these skills, I thought about an idea called Salient Alert, which is a platform to report ICE raids and checkpoints that are happening in real life. Going to the demo, and here's the homepage where you can report an ICE raid or a checkpoint. Going into the ICE raid point where you can put a little bit of information, you can put the address, you can put the zip code, the city, and the state, and you can also choose the date and time. The date and time is it could be for future tense or current tense, because there has been now information that there might happen, an ICE raid or a checkpoint might be happening, so you can choose for present or future tense. And choosing Chicago, Illinois, and it's predominantly Pilsen because it's a predominant Latino community there. You add the event, and if you go to the reports page, you can see the map where it renders that beautiful marker in Chicago. And if you scroll down, you can see the ICE raids and checkpoints, the information that has been submitted there. And if you scroll back up, you can also go to the map if you just want to view the map itself. And if you want to report a checkpoint, you can. There's also resources for other people who are doing work already in the community, in case, maybe it's a little too late or you need our help. And yeah, it's a Salient Alert, and my stack has been burned, which is MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. And I'm still currently working on it, so one of the features that I do want to add on is alternative routes to avoid certain areas, and also data validation, which is in the form for filling out, and also to validate the reports that have been happening so people can go in and vote up, vote down if they are happening. And yeah, that's a Salient Alert.
All right, Julia.
Hi everyone. I am not Michelle. Okay, so I'm going to give y'all a little bit of backstory about my project, Frisco Rap Scene. So Frisco Rap Scene began about a year ago before I knew any code at all. So it was an idea that my husband came up with actually. He had the good idea that we should promote all the artists that are based in San Francisco because we are both recording artists and we thought it would be a good way to create a community. So a day into this great idea, my husband fell off the wagon. It was burnt out. I thought it was such a great idea that I continued on with it. And as I was going, I just saw how many artists that were I didn't know about. They had all this content that was just going totally unseen. So I did this promotion on Instagram for about 6 months, promoting their videos, their shows, anything that was going on that they had. And then I kind of got burnt out from that. I felt like it needed to be more. So my husband at the time was going through a boot camp, and I tried to convince him to create a website for it. It went to threats. If you don't do it, I'm gonna learn how to code and I'm gonna do it. And not even 3 months later, I found about Techtonica. So a year later, Frisco Rap Scene is here. So what is Frisco Rap Scene? It is basically a platform for artists based in San Francisco, and it gives them the ability to showcase their creative content. Like I was telling you earlier, I'm a recording artist, and I can tell you firsthand that it's really hard as a local artist to receive the acknowledgement and support for your content that you've worked so hard to produce. And it was very important to me to see this come into fruition. All right. So this is the landing page. This is just welcoming our users and artists. And then we jump into our music section. And here, this is where artists, their songs will be displayed. And here I'm using Spotify's API. After struggling some time to create the OAuth, and it was so difficult, found out that their widgets handle that. So moving into the video section, this is using YouTube's APIs, iframes. And so this right here is actually one of my older videos. I'm just showing y'all the whole, y'all have to see the whole thing. So here, I was actually pregnant with my third child. Okay, so moving into the next section is our submission section, and this is where the artists come to submit their content. So we have 3 forms. The first one is to capture their initial submission, name, email, and location. The second one is where they submit their artist name and their song title. This is where they would come and drop that Spotify link and submit it, and it displays. We have our video submission here, and it's similar to the song form, except for we're taking their YouTube link. And so here I'm just demoing for y'all. And Diggable Planners is not from San Francisco, but you know, they're pretty cool. So we submit, and now we're gonna go check the video section to ensure that it is there. And it's there. Diggable Planners. Yes, my fancy displays. So yeah, users that can come and check out any content that's available here in the video section, and same for the music section. And we have one last feature, and that is our search feature. And this is what I'm currently working to integrate right now. And it gives the user the ability to just go in and search the artist by name or song title, and then any content that's available, they will be there for them. What did I use to build this? MongoDB, not MongoDB, MySQL. I used the merge stack, but replaced MongoDB with MySQL, Express, React, and Node.js, and that's for School Rap Team. Thank you.
Great job, Tia. Vivian.
Everyone, I'm Vivian. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself before I get into my demo. So before Techtonica, I was a chemistry graduate. But after I graduated, I realized real quick that academic pedigree was not everything. It merely was like a label, like, oh, you got a degree, cool. But like, if you don't have that experience, like, it was really hard to get into the job market. I really wanted to do a lot of like meaningful research work, but in order for me to do that, I would have to invest heavily into like even more higher education. But coming from a low-income family living in the town of Illinois, that was literally out of question. I honestly I didn't even know what to do at that point. And to even think about like being at this point right now, because I never thought I could be a software engineer. And just thinking back like how, oh my God, it's so crazy, just like being, coming up to this part of the journey and thinking about how I didn't know anyone who was in this field or know anything about this field, and to come up to this point where I'm like, oh my God, is this like love or something? I'm just kidding. But yeah, so now I'm like here, and I get to like create something that I find so meaningful and something that is of my own creation and imagination. So I built Map Journey, and Map Journey is a platform that extends Google Maps functionalities. And it basically allows the users to map out future travels with customization, plus gives them this really cool feature to route based on multiple modes of transportation. So with Google Maps, you can only use one type of transportation, but I am giving users the ability to use all of them simultaneously. So we're going to go into the demo, and you'll get to see how exactly that works. So this is the landing page, and I'm using OAuth as well, so we can log in, and we're going to... It's cached already. So this is the homepage, and it is based off the Yelp API because everybody loves Yelp, right? So we're gonna like search for beaches in San Francisco, and if you can see here, actually renders a list of results that you can click on, and if you click the Yelp logo, it actually brings you to that page. So if you actually click Add to Map, it'll pop up a modal, and click actually to select a category. And the purpose of this is that once you click on My Map, it actually creates a custom map icon, and this is so you can actually see visually what's where you want to go, And so let's get to the cool part. So we're gonna start routing. So if the user actually clicks Get Directions, they can type in their hotel address, and we're gonna choose some fancy place in North Beach. Just just let you know I had someone like do this demo. Okay, so we're gonna go to Chrissy Field and we're gonna route it by. Oh, okay, never mind. We're going over the road. Okay, so I guess we're having ice cream for breakfast. Okay, so we're gonna take the bus there, and you can see actually renders text directions also on the side. And let's see where we're gonna go next. We're gonna go to Concern for Your Flowers. Okay, and we're going to bike there. No, we're gonna walk there. See, we're feeling guilty. And ice cream, we're feeling guilty. Okay, so as you can see, also renders the directions on the side. Oh, it's like an hour walk. That's really ambitious. Okay, so we're gonna go to Twin Peaks because it's super nice there, and we're going to bike there. Oh, that's personally really ambitious. That's a really steep hill. But yeah, so like after you realize I'm really tired, after walking and biking, that we're gonna go head back to our hotel because we're super tired. So you can actually click the go home button and it'll render driving directions back to your hotel. And it'll also render that. And then you can actually go to your account and click profile eventually. So we're gonna see who's in here. And I bet y'all expected this. Beyonce is my app. She was my app. I hope you're paying attention because now you can see where she's going. Because I'm not gonna show it again. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you can sign out. So like if I had more time, I definitely want to be able to get to the point where it's hold out. That where it's like multi-city functional, and I want to be able to create like a warning system, especially for LGBT individuals, because it's not necessarily safe to go to a lot of cities and countries around the world, and just being LGBT myself, I think that's like really important. And my tech stack was also Mern, or replace Mongo with MySQL, and then my APIs were Yelp and basically all of Google Maps APIs that you could think of. Thank you.
All right, Zaire.
Hi everyone, my name is Zaire. Thank you for being here, and thanks Viv for starting us off with Beyonce. Really appreciated that. So before I start, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. So prior to Techtonica, I was doing a lot of things. I was actually working at Apple part-time as a visual merchandiser, and then I was also taking classes at City College studying coding, design, and UX, and also pursuing a career in UX. So I was doing a lot of things, and one of the things that kept me being productive and consistent and managing my time was working out. So when I started Techtonica, I really thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna work out 3 times a week, and I'm gonna stay productive and all that kind of stuff. And yes, I was very productive, coding like 24 hours a day, but I really wasn't working out consistently. And one of the things that I kept thinking about is what got me here. And I think one of the things that got me here was the fact that I was using working out to stay productive and consistent. So when it came to actually thinking about our final projects, I decided to kind of create an app that would help me get past the blocker of actually scheduling when I wanted to work out. And that's when I created Workout Time here. And basically Workout Time takes in your Google Calendar data. It tells you how much free time you have for that week, because that was one of the things I was like, oh, I don't have that much free time. But when you see in this app, I actually do have a lot of free time. So yeah, it takes in the free time. It suggests workouts for you. And then you can add those workouts to your calendar. So we can start the video. So here is workout time. And next we're going to go to the authorization part. Google Calendar has this built in. And then it tells you how much free time you have this week. So I guess I have 101 hours of free time. That sounds like a lot. And then basically the user can tell how many hours they want to work out for that week and how many days. So 2 hours in this week and 3 days. And so then it shows the list of suggested workout times for the whole week. And they have morning and evening. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you're doing a boot camp, you gotta get up early in the morning. But that's one of the features I want to work on. Also adding the afternoon workout in. But as you can see, it'll actually go to my Google Calendar and add a workout in. So I've got one in for 5:30. That's more reasonable. And then one of the things, Vivian actually tested it out, and she got an alert on her Google Calendar for working out 420. She did not work out, but it does work. And so one of the things I do want to work on is getting that afternoon workout in, and also being able to customize it so you can choose when the time frame that you want to work out. And the tech stack that I used was React and Material UI for the front end, Express and Node and PostgreSQL for the back end. Thank you.
Okay, I'll get it out. Hi, I'm Zinzin, and I have a whole bunch of social science degrees. Previously, I felt a little bit ashamed about I don't have a CS degree, but after hearing Michelle's talk, I'm proud I have so many social science degrees, right? Yeah, I have social science degrees. Then when I was studying social science, I took statistics courses, and I was so good at it. And I also love it. I could code, I just sit there and coding non-stop. And I cannot stop. I love it, and I'm good at it. I feel so excited and fulfilled, I just cannot stop. So I think, wow, that's the thing I need to do. I should get into tech. So I moved into the Bay Area, and I found another non-profit organization. It's for moms. You know, moms also need this. And so it's called Mother Coders, and I took the eight weeks web development program, and I found I love coding even more. So I built a personal website using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and after that, I took online courses on Python, SQL, all kinds of stuff. You see, I cannot stop. So after that, I can code at home, but I just feel something is missing. I need my peers. I need someone guiding me. And I know I can code, but I don't know what's really like. Like in the company, what's the production code? Well, what if I have a blog? Who I can ask? I don't have a networking thing working, so I need more. And I also want to learn more. That's when I found Techtonica. It's just perfect. You know, I wish my middle name was also Michelle, so I can see I'm the seventh Michelle. So, and then, you know, in the Bay Area, and you know, I talk about the statistics, right? And so my project was about data. I always loved data, you know. And so I decided when I was thinking about applying a project, I said, yes, I want to do data. So I'm doing data visualization of the house price. You know how crazy the house price here. So I have a question. So you think in 2017, which state has the highest house price change? What do you think?
Oregon.
District of Columbia.
Good question.
Because I think if we only put in Bay Area, it will be the highest. But because California, we have inland cities, and those cities are not as crazy as here, you know. And so, yeah, surprising. You take for granted. We sometimes took for granted how the data will be, but actually when you're analyzing it, it will be different. Or maybe you give an insightful thing you can think about it. That's why I love data. And another interesting thing I found when I was analyzing the data is in 1975. Which state do you think is the lowest one? The lowest one?
California.
Yes. Okay, let's find out. And my project called V3, so it's visualizing data history. And I have some kind of introduction, and you jump into the visualization. So you can see from 2017 until 1975, we have all the states here. You can see District of Columbia over there. And then you can click into that, go into California, it's 2017. You can also go back to 1975, and you come back, and you can also back to the state level to have the original one, and you can log in using OAuth, log in with Google, and so you come back to the landing page, and you can say your unique chart based on the user preference here, so it's only for this user, and then we can also change the preference, like 2005, you can change to, I think I did over, yes. So I save it, and you go back to my profile, and you can refresh it, yeah, I saved my preference, so I log out, and then we come back to my original chart. And so my tech stack is MySQL, yeah. MySQL, Node, Express, and for front end I use React and D3 to do the visualization thing, and for the design it's Materialize UI, yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Ashley. Hi everyone, my name is Ashley. A little bit about myself. Before Techtonica, I used to be a mail carrier, and on a daily basis I was interacting with a lot of customers, and one of the things that drew my attention was hearing about their problems about either the mail or parcels either lost or stolen. So at that time I realized that I had a passion to identify and solve problems as well as helping others. I also figured that tech is always changing, so I wanted to be able to impact others by trying to build a web application since technology is always changing. But I didn't have the advanced skills too. So during my time as a full-time mail carrier, I started teaching myself JavaScript to get the basic web fundamentals to build my web application. By getting my basic web fundamentals down, I decided that I wanted to advance my skills. So finding about it, Techtonica and their living stipend allowed me to quit my job to focus on coding full time. And when it came to the final projects, I decided that I really wanted to build my application, which is Subhouse, which is a platform that allows users to find sublets and temporary houses in local areas. Cool. So when you come to the landing page on the website, a user can find a listing search either by price or zip code or pretty much the local area that they want to find. And here it will pop up with a pop-up marker with the modal window, which you could just view the listing. And if you want to find out more listings or more description about that listing, you could actually click on the link that said more info, which will bring you to via Craigslist. Everyone has used Craigslist before. And if a user wants to save a listing for later, they could go to that pretty little star right there to save the listing. And then this is just another listing of the different listings in the local areas. So you just view more info about that listing. Go ahead and look at the pretty little pictures and read more of the description about that particular listing. And also, I use a form of web scraping. This was not easy. I didn't have an API to integrate my data. And pretty much, if I give it more time, I would like to implement to rate for a user and a host to review and rate each other, as well as implement my search bar feature. And the stacks that I use is React on the front end, web scraping Craigslist, Node, Express, and I didn't use a database for my preference, but that's it.
Leanne.
Hi, I'm Leanne. And about me, before Techtonica, I was working at Square in customer support. And part of my job there was to have some cross-functional meetings with product and engineering. And I thought that was super interesting because I actually started getting interested in what on that side of the product, basically. And so I started teaching myself to code part-time while I was doing that. And it was really difficult for a variety of reasons. And I actually talked to a friend who completed a boot camp, and from what I heard about it, I was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. But there's a bunch of barriers around that anyways. So then I was doing research, and I eventually found Techtonica, which kind of solved every single problem that I was facing around it. So I'm really grateful for that. And so for my final project, I thought back to when I was working in retail. It was around Christmas time. And I remember this guy was coming in, and he needed help finding a gift for his girlfriend. And we were selling handbags at the time. And yeah, we were both just searching. He was telling me about like the stuff that she liked. And we both at the same time were kind of like, there should be an app for this. And it seemed really obvious. And we're like, oh, cool. And that kind of just always stuck with me. So I wanted to try to make that. And right now it's called Gifter, and right now it pulls data from Etsy's API based off of what the recipient's hobbies or interests are. So we can have the demo. Cool, so replaying that scenario. So we're shopping for the girlfriend who was into orange handbags. It's Christmas time. And our search limit is 15. Cool. So this is pulling data from Etsy's active listings, and when we try to save it, the app is actually going to tell us that we need to log in to be able to save that item. So this is using Auth0's API. And, yeah. Oh, and I made it to where you could use it, but you'd have to log in because I heard that if you put a login page like right at the beginning, it kind of deters some people. So. Well, now we're going to do this again, but see if it saves. Alright. Cool, so it's telling us it's saved, but let's go check. Now that we're logged in, we have the product history page and the profile. That was quick, but yeah, it was saved to the top of the list of the product history. And that was coming from the MySQL database. I use MySQL, Express, React, and Node. And for next steps, I'd like to be able to do some more API calls. I can get some pictures on up there, and also give the ability to purchase from inside the app. Thank you.
All right, weren't those projects amazing? I think I'm going to be in the background of all the pictures, just like beaming at you, so that'll be great. I just want to take a moment here to say thank you to every single person who's been supportive in some way. This would not be possible without all of the support. We have had so many people come in. It's unbelievable that some days we've had 4 or 5 volunteers show up. So it's been great, and I just want to thank everyone. Any way that you've been supportive is helpful. I've had people say, oh, I don't really have time right now, but I can give you money. Yes, that's very helpful. Don't feel bad about that. Maybe sometime you'll have some more time. You can come do some volunteering. But friends and family have supported all of the apprentices as they've gone through this, so thank you to all of those. And we've also had individual mentors assigned to the apprentices. Raise your hand if you're one of those mentors. Woo! We spent a lot of time with the apprentices every single week, so that is very appreciated. Thank you so much for doing that. And advocates. By advocates, I mean people who have talked to their companies and been advocates for supporting Techtonica in a corporate fashion. So thank you to all of you who have done that. It takes guts to keep pushing when people are like, what is this new program? We're not sure about it. So thank you. All right, so now is the official graduation time. I'm gonna have all the apprentices come up and line up. Line. Great. Okay, each person will be working in the next few weeks. I've been pushing so hard for a very long time to get more sponsors on board so we could place everyone, and they came through this morning. So, great. So I guess I'll just start with Zaire. Zaire, do you want to?
I was placed with Riley.
Riley. Okay, so then we have Zen going to Pantheon with Michelle. Ashley is going to Huge in Oakland. Michelle and Stephanie are fortunately standing together because they will also be working together at Mixed Panel. Celia is going to Ancestry. Vivian is going to Redfin. And Leanne is going to Colark with Ellie Day. Yeah, in the next couple of weeks, they'll be working. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. And now I have a special surprise for them. It's not that kind of surprise. When I have to tell you, yesterday I basically told them, just be ready. Things are happening fast, and we'll see if I have announcements for you. And at 11 something this morning, I sent out an app channel mention and said, everyone at the desks now. And they were like, what's going to happen? What are you going to tell us? And that's when I got to share the good news that everyone has a spot. Thanks to the donors who made these backpacks possible.
I'm totally stealing the mic. This is not planned. I do not have any flowers, but I am on the board with Techtonica. My name's Samaya and the ADU. And I'll tell you that I met Michelle last year. I saw her passion, and she is the quintessential person when you describe allyship. And these girls, congratulations, have been through a lot. And I've seen it. I'm so proud of you. And I'll be honest, as a board member, there were times where I'm like, Michelle, how do we pull this off? And I have never met someone more tenacious, more just like we're figured out. And her husband, I mean, I'm sure she will have great things to say, but like, she couldn't have done all this without such a supportive partner. And it's just a testament to someone who had a vision and just keeps working, and she inspires me so much, and just in what she embodies and just never giving up. And just thank you all who have supported and been there. So I'm done hijacking, but I couldn't let it go without saying that how proud I am of you. You've done really well.
But did you start it? Every morning after I share announcements, we do a cheer. And now that we are at GitHub in an open office space, it's really awesome because every morning they're like, what is going on? So I think we should do one more cheer.
Okay, see?
What cheer do we want to do?
Starting from the bottom, now we're here!
1, 2, 3,
Starting from the bottom, now we're here!
Okay. All right, so there is more. I know a lot of people have questions about what happens next. So we will be providing ongoing support to the apprentices as they move into jobs at the sponsored companies. And we just talked today about having check-ins and having additional mentoring. We are going to be scheduling Tuesday night volunteer hackathons for people to come help us improve the program based off of what we learned from this one. And I told the apprentices they would be welcome to come on those nights and get some additional mentoring. Sometimes in your first engineering job, you just need someone separate to ask questions to. So yeah, we will be doing that. They've gotten some great free tickets to conferences, so they'll be doing that. And then because most of the partnerships we were able to build were for 3 months only, I am going to be planning a mini career fair in October so they can hopefully prepare for getting into the next job. So looking forward, our goal is to basically next week go back to all of the companies that said no, talk to us during your next cohort, and let them know that we are now looking for sponsors for the next cohort, and that this time we want them all to be committed before we start. So it was a big leap of faith, and I'm so glad we made it, but going forward, we'd like people to sign up ahead of time. So October 6th, we will be doing our annual fundraiser at GitHub. It's going to be brunch, and it will be awesome. And then on October 12th, that's the deadline for companies to sign up. And the reason we chose this date is because right after, basically, if we get to that point and we are able to fund and place another cohort, then we need some time to have the application process I went through, which is very rigorous. So that would start in November, and then we'd send out acceptance emails in December and start in January. So keep these dates in mind, let your companies know, and you can definitely get a ticket to our fundraiser. Yeah, so sponsoring is the big heavy hitter way to help. And then definitely spread the word. We are all over social media, so I even had our high school intern convince me to finally sign us up for Instagram last week. I still don't know why it's separate from Facebook, but okay. And then we definitely take donations. On our website, there's, at this donate page, there are like 3 or 4 different ways you can donate. So just choose your favorite and go with that. And then we love volunteers, and if you go to our website, there's a form you can fill out that lets us know what your skills are and what you're willing to help with. And then we reach out as we come across those needs. So these are some of our distinguished supporters. I didn't want to share this before we told where everyone was going, but here they are. Woohoo! Thank you so much. Yeah, so that is it for the formal program tonight. I would love it if we could take a giant group picture right here with the Techtonica theme behind us, and then we have stickers for you to get on the way out. So, yay!